JJ is a high school student and a real bully. The girl's behavior was terrible and her grades were unsatisfactory, which forced her to change her place of residence and transfer to the prestigious international school Higher International Values in the middle of the school year. This was caused not only by problems at school, but also by difficulties in the family, because of which JJ promises herself to start her life from scratch. The girl wants to study well and finish school so as not to upset her parents and other relatives. Finding herself in a new school, JJ sees before her a luxurious building where rich children of successful parents study. It seems that she has entered a paradise for school children, but it turns out that she has been assigned to Section E, the most backward and disobedient class. The building of the section is in the backyard and looks like an abandoned house where no one lives. It is full of graffiti and hooligans who react aggressively to the appearance of a girl. Meeting school children, JJ tries to be nice and friendly, but the head of the bully gang chases the schoolgirl away, saying that she doesn't belong here. Not wanting conflict or a fight, JJ leaves and decides to try to go to another class. She ends up in Section C for intermediate level students, but she is not welcome here. They stick to the rules and ask the girl to go to the appropriate class. JJ has to go back to the dilapidated building and join the E class. She notices that she is the only girl in the class and doesn't understand why only guys are here. Instead of a friendly greeting, the guys and their leader meet JJ aggressively, not wanting to socialize with the newcomer. Mark is the leader and class president who pesters JJ the most. During the introduction, he asks the girl a provocative question, which greatly embarrasses her. After the first lesson, classmates start throwing crumpled pieces of paper into the girl's hair, trying to turn her into a real outcast. Trying to escape from the crazy guys, JJ goes to the cafeteria where she can feel what normal life is like. To her dismay, the other students discuss her and consider her a loser since she studies with the retarded. Not wanting to be the object of ridicule, JJ takes her takeout food and returns to her building. As soon as she puts the food on the table, several boys immediately steal it. Felix decides to meet and talk about the rules of their class. The boys in Class E are not allowed in the cafeteria, so they will steal any food. Clearly demonstrating this, Felix also steals the girl's food, after which he runs away to class. A little later, the teacher informs her that JJ can ask for a transfer to another class if she is uncomfortable here. The girl with a strong character is not going to give up and is ready to stand up for herself despite all the difficulties. During one of the lessons, the teacher refuses to give a lecture in a dirty classroom and asks to clean up. The boys immediately leave the classroom and lock JJ inside, ordering her to clean up instead. The girl finds a broom as she suddenly notices the lockers with the names of her classmates. Next to Mark's name, she sees the girl's name Ella and a heart in between. Showing curiosity, she tries to open the locker, but Mark prevents her from doing so. He and JJ begin to fight, but classmates banter with the boy and girl, stating that they look like a married couple. In an attempt to prove that this is not true, Mark trips the girl up so that she falls to the floor and taunts her. Upon returning home, JJ doesn't tell her aunt about her studies and promises to do whatever it takes to graduate. The next morning, she decides to eat breakfast on the second floor, hoping that she will not be found there. The girl hides in one of the offices, but accidentally meets Mark. The bully takes the food away, but shows humanity and offers to have breakfast with the two of them. At some point, JJ starts to think he's nice and feels sympathy, but Mark notices this and starts being rude. Before class starts, the guy and the girl clash again as Mark promises to do anything to get JJ to leave, and she is sure it won't happen. After class, JJ meets Reiki, a girl from a more successful class, and also meets a guy named Kiko. The girl likes him, but has to run away to avoid meeting the people who made fun of her in the cafeteria before. Back in her section, JJ is forced to hand out food to her classmates so they won't pick on her and let her eat something. At the same moment, Yuri, a successful and rich guy who has been suspended for terrible behavior, shows up here. He reacts aggressively to the girl's appearance in their class, and promises Mark to help do whatever it takes to get JJ kicked out. The next morning, JJ meets a classmate on the way to beat up 3 boys. Seem turns out to be a pleasant guy who is willing to be her secret friend. In exchange for food, he tells her why the students of Section E have been banned from the cafeteria. Some time ago, there was a girl named Ella in their class. Mark started dating her, but when the couple broke up, he made a real mess in the cafeteria. After class, JJ tries to get up from her seat, but she can't succeed. Yuri and Mark used glue, causing the schoolgirl's skirt to stick to the chair. JJ asks Seema and Felix asks to help her since they have become friends. The guys have a hard time solving her problem, but the girl's skirt rips. At first, she takes Seam's jacket to cover her shame, but afterwards she throws it in Mark's face, saying that this is the beginning of a war, and she is ready to give him a proper fight back. In the evening, Seema walks JJ home and leaves her his other jacket to cover her underwear. On the way back, he is met by 5 guys, 3 of whom he had beaten up earlier. They offer the choice of beating him or JJ, and Seam takes the beating for himself. Upon returning home, JJ meets Eris's cousin, and his aunt asks them to socialize more by not ignoring each other at school. Eris is not happy about this, as he is in the successful class and his sister is studying among the bullies, but he has no choice and has to agree to his mother's demands. The next morning, Eris takes his sister to school, where she again faces the bullies. Mark orders the girl to buy food for the whole class, as she is the only one who can get into the cafeteria. JJ agrees to the class president's demands and buys the food, which displeases RS. Ignoring her brother, she brings food to the guys, causing them to start socializing with her. She starts to become friends with Felix and Seam, as well as other guys. The only one who still completely ignores the girl is Yuri, who believes that she does not belong among them. In the next class, the guys can't answer the teacher's question, causing everyone to get a bad grade. JJ decides to join the collective and does not answer the question. At that very moment, the whole class learns that JJ is Eris's cousin. Mark and the others are shocked by this and stop not only bullying JJ, but also socializing with her. The girl is worried that Seam has stopped going to school and calls him, but he hides the fact that he was brutally beaten. In the evening, she tries to understand why her classmates turned away from her after learning about her relationship with Eris, but her brother does not say anything. The next morning, the school children learn all about JJ. The girl has no father and moved in with her aunt to study here. She lives in the same house as Aris, and the boys assume that JJ is spying on them for her cousin. Once again, considering her an outcast, the bullies agree to do everything they can to get the girl to ask to be transferred to another class. The first thing they decide is not to communicate with her, but a week passes, and JJ still studies with them. After class, the teacher asks the students to clean up, but they lock the girl in the classroom again to do the cleaning instead of them. She overhears a conversation about her and realizes that she is seen as an outcast who needs to be gotten rid of, but JJ is not used to giving up and boldly declares it. Mark bursts into the classroom and starts fighting with JJ, but the girl knows how to stand up for herself. She litter and crosses the guy in everything, demonstrating the strength of her character. Considering it a provocation, Yuri offers Mark to clean up, after which they both get locked in the classroom. The next morning, JJ notices Seema and gets out of the car to walk with a friend. He knows she's related to Aris, but that doesn't interfere with their friendship. The guy is still battered and the bruises are slowly healing, but he remains optimistic. Once in the classroom, JJ sees Mark fighting with a student unknown to her. It turns out to be David, the former class president, who has a conflict with Mark. Not afraid to get involved in the men's squabble, JJ throws a chair between the students so they will stop fighting and elect a new president in a civilized manner. A little later, JJ goes to the canteen to buy food, but she too is forbidden to go inside. Luckily, Rocky comes to the rescue, a kind girl from the elite class who is not afraid to socialize with JJ. Seema confesses that he is in love with Rocky and kissed her once, for which he was immediately slapped in the face. In the evening, the school children have an election, but it turns out that it will take the form of a fight in which the winner will become class president. JJ cheers for David, but Mark brutally beats him and wins. Showing sympathy, JJ helps David get up and clean up after the defeat. From that day on, David becomes the third friend of a girl adjusting to studying in a collective of bully boys. At some point, she learns that they will have a gym class and decides to change clothes. The guys undress in front of the girl, which embarrasses her. At one point, she notices Mark undressing and starts looking at him with loving eyes. Embarrassed that the others have noticed this, JJ tries to run away, but accidentally runs into Yuri, once again finding herself in an awkward situation. Not only the students from the backward class go to gym class, but also Aris and his friends and girlfriend. JJ notices that Yuri and Mark are getting really nervous about it. At some point, she realizes that Ella is the girl Aris is in a relationship with. Ella used to date Yuri and then Mark, which is the reason why the guys dislike Aris so much. Angry over his presence, Mark starts throwing balls at JJ. The others cheer him on and start bullying the girl. At one point, Mark throws the ball hard and it hits JJ's face, breaking her nose. The bloodied girl falls down and has a nervous attack due to the psychological trauma. Aris struggles to calm her cousin down, and Mark begins to regret what happened, realizing that the girl doesn't deserve to be treated so cruelly. After Mark breaks his nose, JJ decides not to go to school to recover a bit. At one point, she thought about transferring, but her aunt supported her niece in a difficult moment. Realizing that the girl also needed to be able to stand up for herself, her aunt allowed allowed her to fight, but not often and only as a last resort. A little later, JJ went to the mall where she was met by her classmates. They started teasing the girl and at one point pushed her so that she almost fell, but found herself in Mark's arms. He does not know how to apologize, but he felt guilty, so he offered the girl a dessert. Despite the conflict and misunderstanding, she can't stay mad at Mark, especially when he shows a romantic mood and puts a band-aid on her nose. After learning that a bully doesn't know how to apologize, JJ leaves, but still picks up the dessert he bought for her. The next morning, JJ returns to school with Seam, but gets separated from him to go to the bathroom. Nervous about everything that is going on, the girl knocks over a trash can, after which she goes to the girls' restroom located in the elite building. Here, she accidentally overhears a conversation between the elite high schoolers, among whom Freya is the queen of the school. She thinks JJ is ugly and insults her behind her back, and also says that Ella is an easily available girl. Angry, JJ leaves the restroom and confronts Freya about her displeasure, then douses her with water to wash off her makeup and show her that the queen of the school is not pretty either. Realizing that she has done something stupid, JJ runs away and hides behind Frank's back, but Freya comes to their classroom for the proceedings. Mark doesn't let the girl hide and exposes her so the schoolgirls work things out. Freya decides to teach JJ a lesson and drags her out into the hallway where the other schoolgirls have gathered. The queen reveals that there is a clear hierarchy in the school. The A section are the elite and kings, B are the successful but work hard, C are the good-natured losers, D are the slaves who do the A section's bidding, and E are the trash and dirt under their fingernails. Freya orders them to apologize and get on their knees, but JJ is too proud and is against it. Oris appears on the scene, but he doesn't defend his sister and allows her to be insulted. While in an uncomfortable position, JJ exposes Freya insulting her cousin's girlfriend behind her back. During the conflict, Freya blames everything on the other girl, causing her to decide to get beaten up. A boy from Section E defends her as she is his girlfriend, which leads to a conflict between the elite and the bullies. Mark stands up for his classmates and challenges Eris to a duel, resulting in a fight between them. Freya and JJ also fight. At one point, they decide to pour dirty water on the girl, but Frank covers her with his body, after which they escape. A little later, Seam comes to the nurse's station and overhears a conversation between JJ and Mark. At one point, he thinks they are doing something indecent, but it turns out he misunderstood. JJ chases Seema out of the room where Frank is lying, and Mark sees the girl off with a smile. A week earlier, he had begun to miss the girl not showing up at school. He felt guilty for breaking her nose and wanted to apologize, but didn't see fit to do so. Mark was afraid of looking pathetic or weak, so he devised a plan as if by chance to meet her at the mall. A little later, he proposed a plan to Yuri in which Mark should make JJ fall in love with him and then dump her so that she and her brother Aris, who had beaten Ella away from him, would suffer. While sticking to the plan, Mark realized that he had set it all up for nothing, as he had fallen genuinely in love with JJ. During the quarrel and fight with Freya, he wanted to protect the girl, and now, having given her medical help, he became even more sympathetic. A few days later, the guys go to a special board where decisions will be made about the school and funding for their class. Mark and the others do not take JJ with them and ask her to wait for them in the classroom. When they return, they find the girl on the floor writhing in pain. JJ claims she just has a stomachache and needs to go home, but it is soon revealed that Freya has sent the slaves from Section D to beat the girl. Mark would like to take revenge on his abusers, but he can't show his crush on JJ. A little later, the classmates joke on JJ by hoisting her briefcase up the flagpole as the new flag of their class. Yuri and Mark look at her with sympathy, but try to hide their feelings for the girl. After class, Mark learns that JJ has decided to take revenge on her own against her abusers and goes to fight them. At this time, JJ hits 3 guys, but one of them attacks from behind and knocks out the schoolgirl. Showing up at the gym just in time, Mark beats up the offenders and then stands with JJ back to back to defend himself against the 3 bullies. The pair easily deal with the 3 guys and beat them up before collapsing to the floor from exhaustion. A few minutes later, Mark leaves so no one can see that he was involved in the fight. Yuri appears on the scene and beats up one of the bullies, who decides to attack the girl again. Realizing that JJ is very tired, Yuri takes the girl in his arms and carries her away from the gym. A couple of days later, during classes, a heavy downpour started outside. Because of the bad weather, classes were canceled and everyone rushed home, but not JJ. She calls her brother for a ride home, but Aris doesn't answer her calls. Noticing this, Yuri walks the girl home, but at some point they fight. Angry with the girl, the guy pushes away a wooden plank to walk on, causing JJ to end up in the mud. The girl starts crying and begging for help. Yuri is kinder than Mark, so he tries to help her, causing them to fall into the swamp together. While trying to get up, the girl accidentally kicks her classmate between the legs, causing him to suffer greatly. A few minutes later, Yuri comes back for JJ in a car and offers her a ride. After sharing a warm sweater, the guy takes the classmate to his house. Noticing that she has fallen asleep, Yuri lies and claims that the road to her place has flooded, so the girl can stay at his place. Yuri lives in a posh hotel built by his father with his grandfather, and he has dozens of servants at his disposal to fulfill his every wish. A classmate offers JJ a rest and a shower, after which he is forced to introduce his grandfather. The old man turns out to be very strict, but becomes kinder when he notices that his grandson feels sympathy for the girl. The next morning, Mark is angry when he notices that Yuri and JJ have become friends. He tries to figure out what happened and seems jealous of the girl after learning that she was at a friend's house. A little later, JJ and Mark are called to the principal's office to find out the circumstances of the fight. The three bullies blame Mark for everything, but the girl remembers Yuri's request and takes all the blame. She may be kicked out of school and reports the incident to her older brother, resulting in the girl's suspension. Instead of grieving, she spends her older brother's money and buys a bicycle so she can ride to school without Eris's help. In the evening, Yuri and Mark throw a party where the guys discuss a plan for Arisu's place. Mark wants to make a girl fall in love with him and asks for some advice so that JJ can't resist him. The next morning, the school children take all the available seats, causing JJ to have to sit next to Mark. Yuri is jealous and doesn't like the whole situation, but he has to go along with his comrade's plan. The next morning, Mark continues to pursue the girl and trips her up, after which he catches her in his arms. He tries to show sympathy, but JJ rejects him, although she notices that the guy's attitude towards her has changed a lot. A little later, JJ goes outside and notices someone hiding behind a garbage can. It turns out to be Mika, the girl who was accused of insulting Ella. Because of this, the guys from Section D beat her up regularly, and the girl assumes that Eris put them up to it. JJ decides to help Mika and goes with her to the restroom to get the girl cleaned up. A little later, she brings her to her class, which causes the other guys to get angry. Mark is against other people's girls being here, and again hints at his liking, but JJ doesn't get it. On the way home, she thinks about the guy's words, but tries not to give it much thought. While seeing Mika off, JJ decides to find out the history of her relationship with Calix. He was once a womanizer, but Mika fell in love with the guy and confessed her love to him. The couple started secretly dating, and they were doing well, but one day she was told that he was cheating on her with another girl. Mika still loves Calix, but doesn't know if he has changed and is ready for a relationship. Back home, JJ asks Eris to stop bullying Mika. Their conversation is accidentally overheard by Ella, which leads to an argument since Mika was her best friend in the past. The next morning, Ella thanks JJ for protecting her friend and asks her to do everything she can to keep Calix away from her. JJ is not about to get involved in the couple's relationship and tell Mika what to do. Soon, Michael from the elite section confesses his love to Mika and suggests they start dating. Calix and JJ prevent this, so Mika talks to the guy and listens to him. A little later, JJ gives Mika's love letter to Calix so that he can read it and draw the right conclusions. After meeting the girl, he confesses his love for her and everything seems to be fine between them. Mark and JJ overhear the couple's conversation, and at one point the guy confesses that he is in love with the girl. JJ is very touched by his words, because the bully says that he is ready to change and become a better person for her. And on this touching moment, the first part ends. Put a like if you want to see the continuation of this wonderful romantic story.